Rage Revolution, welcome. Brother Eric Teray Muhammad here. Share it out, make word, help me get the word out that I'm sharing a little commentary this afternoon, evening for some of you. And just really it's not really a recap of what transpired this morning at classes in session. Welcome, Brother Eric Teray Muhammad here. Because class in session was extremely moving with the presentation from Bishop Jakes, because it really is all about belief. It really is. And he gave tremendous examples, adages, and formulas as to how belief is exercised and how it's practiced. And I want to thank Brother Daniel Higgins, because he came on with a stream a little more than an hour ago before our corporate presentation. And he gave what I consider an excellent recap, not because he blamed me for it, but he really gave a portion of what moves him in that presentation. So I'm grateful for that, because it adds to what I wanted to speak to us about this afternoon. Relatively brief. For those who did not see the stream and looking to see what was said and what was articulated by Bishop Jakes and the dialogue that we enjoyed with each other, you can go to Kafani Radio International Network, the Kafani Radio page at 5 p.m. Eastern, which is roughly an hour from now, and you can see the class in session from this morning in its entirety there on the Kafani Radio Facebook page, and our brother Carlito is at the helm there. And we thank Kafani Radio for finding something of value in it to share with the remainder of our community. So I was listening to my brother earlier today, Brother Marcus Slate Bay. And in my perusing the internet, I came across a stream. And I didn't hear the entire stream, but I heard something that stuck out so pivotal to me for the very beginning of his stream, that I thought that we could reflect on. And that is that networkers add value. They add value. I'm paraphrasing what he said at this moment. He said, outside of giving birth to a person, the next thing that you can give them of any kind of worth, and he didn't put it that way, but he said money. And he talked about how networkers add value for the moments that I caught, because he spoke about how in these vacuums, he gave a good example of what many of us are experiencing right now as wealth builders worldwide. Number one, many of us don't have jobs. Those that have jobs have a plan to get out of them, because you made a plan to finance your freedom. That's many of us. Then the fact that we're also accumulating assets, precious metals, we're building wealth in the interim, while we're working those calculations, while we're living our freedom, and we're referring others, we're adding value to entire communities. There are many people who never knew anything about networking before they, like myself, came to Wealth Builders Worldwide. We were always doing it, but didn't know what it necessarily was by title. Oh yeah, I dibbled and dabbed in other things. I didn't really know what it was networking. I thought I was just selling goods and services to get money. So I did Noni Juice at one time. I did Melaleuca at one time. I did all these little things. Herbalife, I dibbed and dabbed at, looked at, but never really invested time and effort into it. I looked at these things, but I didn't understand what it was. I just knew, hey, there's a product that looks interesting. Maybe I can sell it to people, and that was my humble beginnings, you see. So when as a child, I did as a child, I spoke as a child, but I learned as a child, did as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things, meaning I began to develop an understanding of what this opportunity actually is. And I say this often to many people, that nothing ever comes before its time. So I'm not one of those to say, man, I wish I was living then, I would have done X, Y, and Z. That's not really how I process things, because nothing truly comes before it's time. So when you recognize the time for a thing, you're also marrying it on to a mission. Time is always rooted with equated with a purpose. There's always a sense of purpose equated with the time. Time is motion. It continues to move. But when do you recognize it? You recognize it when you have something to do within it, whether you serve it or it serves you, but there's a sense of purpose that's identified. All right. And so, no, I didn't know what the things were. I didn't know what networking was. I didn't have an understanding what a referral based business was. None of that crossed my mind as a until I got into the active activity, when I became conscious of the fact that I am a networker and I'm in a referral business. All right. So then you figure out what it is you want to refer. You figure out your product elements. You figure out product knowledge, and you figure out your market and your target audience, and you figure out the appropriate action to take to gain the proper results. And those results may be rooted in residual income. It might be a situation where you're looking for more than that. Maybe you're just looking for, I don't know, to be recognized of, again, bringing value. So networkers add value. I found great comfort in what Brother Marcus Slate Bay said there. So if you're on the stream or you see this stream, Islam, brother, I salute you. Okay. This morning, Bishop Jakes talked about believe. His subject matter was believe. And I shared that and got more out of it watching it with everyone else than I did when I first came across it several months ago, more or less 100 episodes ago. And man, when he laid out the life of Moses and laid out what he was faced with, what he had gone through, and if he didn't explain the plight and blight of society, then he wasn't talking. He was calling on Moses, but Moses' name could have been Roz Range. It could have been Sharon Vicks. It could have been Eric Muhammad. That's how relative that life and that passage and that walk and that journey in the Bible through Moses against Pharaoh was to us, which only proves a point. You have different tenses that read in the scriptures. You have past, present, and perfect tense. Past, present, and future tense. And each of them carry a stage of perfection in them. You have allegory and you have symbolic mentions and moments in your Bible. You have the same in your Holy Quran. You have the same in the Injils, the Gospels. You have the same in the Dead Sea Scrolls or the Book of the Dead. You have times, phases that are designed to guide the people of that day and of that hour. All right. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us to look at the Holy Quran in the 7th surah. It speaks of how man is developed stage after stage until he reaches eventual perfection. It also talks about how what I want to bring from the 7th surah, that every nation has a term. Every nation, every people has a warner or a messenger. And when you look at the circumstances surrounding society today, when you look at the news that we've alerted people to between yesterday and this morning, we need a message. We need a message to be conveyed. We need a message to be conveyed because the majority of the world is living under a trick bag. We're living under something so false. that it creates false hope or hopelessness when you don't have or possess an alternative. And this is where the networker comes in, because the networker adds the value. Well, how is it possible that a networker can add value? Because the networker thinks outside of the norm. A networker operates outside of the box. A networker is a visionary, a true networker. You're a visionary because you add value to a world, to a circle, a cipher, to a moment that looks totally traditional. So I often quote Brother Miles Monroe, may Allah be pleased. I often quote Dr. Miles Monroe when he said, or was made to make the statement, crisis destroys tradition. And what that means in a very generic sense is that when you have traditions that guide normalcy, that means in order for the tradition to maintain credibility, to maintain validity, it has to be able to handle anything, any challenge that pops up under the norm. When something, however, strikes that community that operates beyond the norm, the normal response of the tradition has to be elevated to meet that abnormality, hoping to bring everything back in line. But when something is so parabolic in its climb and it takes off, that crisis takes off and you can't catch up to it, meaning tradition you, and it can't catch up to it, then that tradition has worn out its welcome and the crisis is elevating itself toward another solution. So here we have a pandemic. This pandemic has us wearing masks and using sanitizers and sheltering in place and creating loss of jobs and creating loss of wages and creating the devaluing of currency and creating runs on banks and creating havoc and crime in the most secure of places at times. And all these things are happening. Health crisis. We lose life and we can no longer bury the dead like we were used to in our traditional homegoing celebrations, because you're limited in the amount of people that can gather at one time and in one place to honor the life that was lived. You see, all these things represent crisis, turmoil, or Christ is. That's another conversation, but I'm sure Kevin Miller will round that one out. I'll drop that one for you, brother. Okay, so stay with me on this. So now you have a crisis that's outpaced the traditional steps of government, that's outpaced traditional steps of the Federal Reserve. You know, don't mistake Federal Reserve for being part of government. Mm-mm. The relationship between them is the lender and the lendee. Keep that in your hat for a minute. So it's outpaced all traditions. It's outpaced the medical field, because the medical field was rooted in making available to the public what was of the interest of the bankers. Fact. Education was created for the interest of the bankers. Fact. You know, your workforce was established for the interest of the bankers. Fact. You see? And today, when you take out loans, today, when you pay, make late payments on rents or utilities or what have you, you are charged the interest of the banks, not an interest in you, but what they feel they've earned out of the inconvenience of serving you and extending the service. Another conversation, but all fits in crisis. So how do you handle that? What has the crisis outpaced that offers a new norm, and where do we come in as networkers? Because where people are dying a slow death out here, trying to hold on to something that will never come back, the way people work, that'll never come back. You know, there won't be a return of the workforce going into the brick and mortar buildings and hanging out in your cubicles, not to the extent that you used to. You know, a lot of that is quite limited. Real estate now has taken on a new approach where people are now getting into homes, buying homes to convert them to have work in place. What do you call it? Telecommute employment. All of these major corporations, stores, clothing stores, chains have gone out of business. Department stores out of business. Because now, if you're not going out to show off how you look, is there really a need for those fine suits? Brooks Brothers, Joseph May Bank, none of them could really survive anymore. They had to give it up. They had to cut their losses. Now their CEOs and whatnot, they still got nice parachutes. But the rank and file are looking for work. So telecommuting, remote home working, these are the things that have now burgeoned onto the scene. The question that we need to ask ourselves as a people, how do we maintain relevance? How do we keep the respect of our children? Think about this. You have a situation where all of your adult life, we've taught our children how to survive and make it, quote unquote, in society. How to make it in society. And we taught them what we did. And now they're seeing no evidence of that being successful because we're still amongst each other and we're in the same house. And you're not making much sense talking tradition when the tradition has failed you in this crisis. How do you make what you know and understand to add life, a value to your child? I'm going to start with that first. No, actually, I'm going to go to Kevin Miller's. I knew he would jump on something. Present Truth, Genesis 47:15, quote, "The money failed in Egypt," end of quote. I told you. You throw something out there for brother, he gonna throw it right back at you like a volley, right over the net. Okay. Now, Freebay. I want you to understand what we're looking at. Not from the aspect of the corporate training that just went on. That's something that you're gonna have to digest for a few days, I'm sure. But let's look at what's out here now, where people are hands over fists just running to get a hold of these Evo Life packages, the Evo Expert packages, the Evo Academy packages. And they're getting them. They're getting these 1 month subscriptions. What is the power in that? Well, let's look at what the Expert or the Life package maintains. What comes with it? First of all, the Life package comes with gold. God's stamp is still on our networking ability to produce a life. Remember what Kevin just said. The money failed in Egypt. The money's failing in America. Did you see the report on Class in Session this morning where they're looking to remove the $100 bill out of circulation, understand what that really means. When you take a note out of circulation that had a value, any value, it could be a penny, the $100 bill just happens to be worth $3, just so you know. $3 worldwide. That's the purchasing strength of it. God dog. Anyway, the problem that the world faces and America has is that America's dollar is considered the global currency. It's the baseline for everything else that is figured in the world, because according to Dr. Sergio Razel, 27%, I'm sorry, all the nations, this is the first time that all the nations on the planet are operating out of fiat, operating out of a faith-based paper that only has the power relative to the faith you put in it. No asset. No asset. Dr. Razel says that the average lifespan of any fiat currency in the world is 27 years. 27 years. America has doubled that. America's currency has lasted 50 years. We're in a time of Jubilee. Kevin's probably going to come back on that one too. Jubilee, 50th. Anyway. So America has doubled the lifespan of any currency in the world. Been around 50 years. 50. But like all the other currencies that lasted to a certain point, they all intrinsically have one common power. They can all fall to zero. Zero. Meaning worthless. So the other interesting point about taking the $100 bill out of circulation, is documented now, there are more $100 bills in circulation globally than there are $1 bills. So when you remove that bill out of circulation, you force people out of the created scarcity to come back to the dollar. And it creates a sensation of going after that dollar. There was a point where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the white man would be burning $1,000 bill to light his cigars because it would be worthless. And then before you knew it, $1,000 bill was out of circulation. Here, the $100 bill is at that point. When it's taken out of circulation, it creates it impacts the lower denominations of currency, because now you're made to redistribute how it's allocated. So instead of the dollar bill only being worth 3 cents worldwide, it might be worth 4. Here's the problem. All of you who've been made to chase this paper and worship this paper, think of all the trap houses and all the places around the world that has all these hundreds bound in bands and wrapped in plastic and cellophane and just stacked all around their homes and in their beds and under their beds or between the mattress. And some of you, walk around with all this paper. Some of you in networking who know we have gold, you still have this attachment to the paper. We know that cash has some measure of power, but we have to learn to utilize the principles of wealth builders. We hold on to the cash that we have absolute use for in day-to-day activity, but we exchange the rest of those receipts, that declining paper bill, for its value, power, and weight in gold. So the Evo Life package comes with 10 grams of pure gold. Gold, as Mr. Dalco taught us, not only can it store your value and store your labor, not only is it worth as much or more in the future as it is today, but gold is incorruptible and indestructible. Think about that, because if that's not God's signature, nothing else is. Think about what Mr. Best said in today's power call. There's a company out here that's selling 5-gram nuggets of gold, 24 karat gold, for nearly $3,000. And you can get 5 grams of gold in our life cards for roughly $1,500 or so. Pure gold, pure grade, transaction-friendly cards that allows you to do over-the-counter things or allows you to parlay it to watch the wealth of it grow. So we also have our gold-backed crypto, our gold-covered crypto. We have so many things operating. How do we bring the relativeness of what we say back to our children, where we maintain their respect for our respect for surviving in this hour, more so prospering in this hour? Because our children have been made for artificial intelligence. I want you to think about this. It seems like they were born with the strongest thumbs in the world because they're always texting, right? They're always looking at a screen, whether they're looking down or looking at their television, playing games. You know, Brother Kansu Hotep Atun and his company and other people in his field develop games, right? Some of them games of war, some of other games of chance. They've developed all these virtual games. People are playing Madden and all this kind of stuff. They've been in this world for a mighty long time, acclimating themselves to a future that produces a way for art to imitate life. So now you have artificial intelligence now calculating how you can survive. Think about it. When Bitcoin first came on the scene, it was a token that no one knew anything about, and people were literally playing with it on gaming platforms. They were trading between each other. They were selling it to each other before it was determined to have any value as a currency. They were doing it gaming, playing cards, losing it in virtual poker games and bid whist and yeah, I'm gonna go all the way black on us, tunk, chug-a-lug, you know, playing on online casinos. And they were using this thing called Bitcoin, squandering tens and thousands of millions of them. Bitcoins were being given away as tokens in email addresses. People were receiving randomly millions of dollars of worth of Bitcoin before it was worth those millions of dollars, and no one knew what it was. In 2017, coming into 2018, in the world of Karatbars with Dr. Harold Constantine Seitz, we burst onto the world with KCB and KBC coins. We bust onto the world with a utility coin and a potential of a gold-backed cryptocurrency. And because it had never been done before, but Bitcoin created an opening, people got to running. Hey, this could happen. Regulators, of course, saw that it was ahead of its time, and that way it meant it was ahead of them. Dr. Seitz represented the finance where Tiger Woods represented the golf. Tiger Woods came on the scene, looked at the Masters, got on the green, hit a ball 400 yards and didn't break out in a sweat. No one else could do that. Tiger Woods was hitting holes in one darn near blindfolded. No one else was doing that. Tiger Woods was finding the cup from what do you call those, sand pits and water moats and all kind of stuff. He could hit it at an angle, and before you knew it, hole in one. He's winning everything that was coveted out here, everything that was traditional, belonging to Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and all these other cats who were very prolific golfers. But Tiger Woods just came on the scene and exploded on the scene and took charge of all of that. And then in the off season, all these magnificent courses, they expanded the course. If he's hitting it 250 yards, they expanded the course to 450. They expanded the course to 700 yards. Because people were tired of competing for number two. Because Tiger Woods is just the baddest that ever done it at that point. And they extended the course, and he still whooped their behinds. Then you have the Williams sisters hitting a ball over the net and screaming at you too. The ball's coming at you at 113, 140 miles an hour. And you're expected to hit it back over the net. You're trying to get out the way. The top money earners in the game, folks got upset with the fact that they would hit the ball and scream at you at the same time. They suffered the largest fine in the history of the sport as individual athletes. They paid it, kept screaming, kept playing, kept winning. And look what they inspired. Look at the sisters that are coming up now, winning the U.S. Opens, winning the Wimbledons, winning at 14, 15, 16 years old. They've inspired life. They've added value. That value was added by a network. A network of what? A network of endorsers, a network of televisions, a network, all these commercial things that go out. They get you Gatorade, they get you Nike, they get you all this sports equipment, they get you all this fashion gear. They have you on the cover of magazines. That's networking. That's referral. But what they didn't realize, they were referring a dream. People looking at it, wow, I can do that. All of your athletes was used in the same way. Now you have a total artificial gaming system. They've gone from everything to Madden, to NBA, artificial gaming, to fantasy football, fantasy basketball, rankings, NCAA, online casino gambling. And they're doing all this stuff from home. You see? Now, Dr. Seitz, who busts on the field like any breaking athlete, man, such a marvel. The regulators tried to catch up to him now because, oh my God, we don't have any laws to regulate what he's doing. And he takes off running, and they're running behind him, making up laws as they go. Because they want to slow it down, as Sherry Brown says. Sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. Where you found the enemies of what we represented trying to slow down his activity so they can catch up and look like they were ahead of the game or in the game. They knew they were competing for less than number two. Oh, this is serious. This is serious. And when they thought they had him, when they thought they had him, they were catching up to something that he had figured out 50 years ahead of them. Welcome to Freebay. Now we have a platform. The evil life comes with gold. That's money. We already determined that cash is trash. The evil life comes with 8 bots, artificial robots that go out to find the pairing of money for you, and you are the only one that can authorize transactions it executes. It goes out into the field of that world. It goes out into the Genesis system and comes back and says, hey, look, you can pair your USD with this Bitcoin, or you can pair your Bitcoin with this KBC, or you can pair your KBC with the Ethereum, and you can earn X amount of dollars if you act on it now. And projectedly in about 4 or 5 hours, it could be at this height. You can invest in it now. I can execute that for you with your permission, and we can pull the profits out of it and bring it back to your account with your permission. Man, think about it. Artificial intelligence, the emotion is taken out of it, and it only sees the facts. And it's not confused with the facts. It's not excited over the facts. You may get excited over what it brings back, but the fact that you're getting a package in the hands of people that give you gold, which is money, and allows you to exchange and trade in the cryptocurrency market for even more gold and money. And you can get that package for 1 month, and you could assign those bots to any of your children and let them work it. Because they know it. They've been prepared for it. They've been poised for it. There's a whole community. I'm going to show you something else. You don't know her yet, many of you, but she's a business partner in Wealth Builders. She is an absolute genius. This is Sister Monica Sekhmet Grant. She's on Facebook. You can find her platform, Young Boss Media. She is a giant. You know what she's done? Mind Your Business and Prosper, this book is a blueprint for business success amongst teens and young entrepreneurs. She has a network of people that she's been communicating with, and they share their values and they share what they do and they exchange ideas. We've been blessed to be a part of that platform. Being a part of that platform yielded a groundbreaking growth of Wealth Builders. She's teaching people how to mind your business and prosper. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And she is at the cusp of turning all this evil life out into the hands of people who are already talking to millions of people around the world. Some of them just chatting, many of them playing games. What do you have in your hands right now? You have the future. What is said about Caraballo, Brother Kevin? What is the saying? How Freebay leads from the future. Could you type it for us, brother? Man, we're leading from the future. We're so far ahead, people don't even see us coming. We have an academy that teaches four different modules that allows you to learn the process of working a new remote at-home business. New, not remote meaning working for somebody else, working for some other corporation from your home where you're still clocking in, clocking out, and you're getting paid a linear income. No, we're showing you how to utilize these tools to build and mind your business and prosper from the house and from the comfort of your home. And it doesn't cost you anything following the wealth building system, because you enroll for free. You can earn up to a 7% commission over everything you do from a free position. People save gold after you sponsor them, you get a 7% commission. People acquire one of the Life Evo packages or the Evo Life packages, or the Evo Expert or the Evo Academy, whatever package they acquire, you get a 7% commission off it. But guess what? The volume that you generate in the system also grows your value in the system. And you can go from a 7% commission to a 15% commission to a 21% commission to a 23% commission to a 25% commission to a 31% commission to a 32% commission. And we're not even talking about the other sponsor bonuses, the generational bonuses, the unilevel differentials. We're not talking about any of that. And you can do all of that with a free enrollment. You literally earn and learn in this process, and it can come in any order you like. You can earn as you learn, or you can learn then earn. That's all up to you. But I'm telling you something about money that you need to know. Money enjoys speed. Money loves speed, and money loves to be wanted. Gold is money, and you get it with us. You get it in Freebay. So that in and of itself has helped me to understand truly what Brother Marcus Slate Bay is saying. Networkers add value. In a time where an economy is totally collapsed, Here we come with gold. Those $100 bills are going out of circulation, and you have many of them. Pay your rents off in advance and get everything in gold. I'm telling you. Thank you, Brother Kevin. Here it comes. Watch this now. FreeBay, your gateway to freedom. We are leading from the future, family. You are in the right place ahead of time. God, dog. Y'all need to write that down. I'm going to leave that up there for a minute. You see? This is where we are. People never saw us coming. But yet here we are. We stand. We have gold. We have gold currencies. We have a trading platform. We have artificial intelligence. We have residual incomes. And look, we haven't even talked about the technology that we already released in the other company that's still partnered in other companies. Believe. Networkers add value. Networkers add value. In a little less than a half hour on the Kafani Radio International Facebook page, you will find, that's right, Sherry Pierce, it's called Lifelong Learning. The Academy offers lifelong learning. Those are the 4 modules that we're talking about along with the bots. Lifelong learning, because what happens is as we evolve, so does the growth of not just the business, but our life, of our dreams, our expansion, technology. All these things are growing simultaneously. We're ahead of it. And it's going to grow into us as opposed to us growing into it. Oh, man. Anyway, Kafani Radio International Facebook page. You'll find a replay from this morning. I hope you find some value in it. Daniel Higgins busted it out so hard and strong in those 6 minutes that he did. I had no need to recap it. Just go back and see it. Brother Marcus Slate Bay, I want to thank you again. Islam to you again, my brother, for sharing what I saw of the stream. I thought it was appropriate and apropos to share in this context. And I want to thank Dr. Harold Constantine Seitz for staying the course. And I want to thank our leadership, because without Mr. Ty and Mrs. Valerie Best, without their experience, their know-how, their wisdom, you know, they always say, the two of them, experience is the best teacher, but you'd rather be the experience of others than yourself. And they've taken their 37 years of networking experience and put it out here and given life to us. They added value to us. And now we're articulating to a whole world. I was referring, but didn't know what it was. And didn't know I can get paid for it. Now we know. Now we know. So family, join us on the Kafani Radio Facebook page in 10 minutes. And then at 7:30, we'll all be on the 5 and 5 training with Mr. Al Murray on goldrocks.info. At 9 p.m., we'll be there with Mr. Roger Williams. And at 10 p.m., we'll be going over the the compensation plan of FreeBay. And those of you who are not a part of this opportunity, you have an opportunity to go to the one who introduced it, get the passcodes required to be a part of that training. And of course, you see on the ticket, Let's Go Weekend 10 is next Thursday, September 24th through the 26th. Dr. Seitz will be with us. Corporate leaders of FreeBay will be with us. Mr. and Mrs. Ty and Valerie Best will be there with us. Mr. Michael and Mrs. Monisha Dalco will be there with us. So many leaders, so many teachers, so many trainers, so many guides, but more importantly, so many of us. It's the world's largest gathering of networkers in one place virtually. Anywhere in the world, you're going to find us, Wealth Builders. Let's Go Weekend 10, September 24th through the 26th. You can go to www.letsgoweekend.com and get your tickets. You're going to hear more about it as the days progress because we're sharing it everywhere. This thing is, look, this brings new meaning. Hey, Brother Kevin, this brings new meaning to Back to the Future. So all goodbyes aren't gone, all shut eyes aren't sleep. And you're going to learn that in a couple of days. Restore the value, restore uh, uh, your presence in the life of your family, your friends, your peers. You can do it because you have the value to add. You can help them see in a tunnel of darkness. You are that piercing bright light. You're the light that irritates them when they wake up in the morning and it pierces through the window. You're the light that embraces them when they're blind and can't see a way out, and here you come. We're wealth builders. We're salespeople, but we don't sell products, goods, or services. No, we don't. We sell people on the infinite possibility of their lives and the power of their dreams. We teach you how to never give up because our cause is noble. See us all on next stream. Heading over to Kafani Radio International page right now. I'm going to check out Dr. Jakes, and then I'm going to be with us again tonight, 7:30, Gold Rocks with Mr. 5 and 5, Mr. Bustin' Loose himself, Mr. Al Murray. Peace and power. If you have not gotten your package, get a package. Get any package right now in Freebay. You're leading from the future. You're in the right place ahead of time. Peace and power. Thank you for your ears, your eyes, and your attention. Forward.